Hi everybody, good morning, and welcome to my Parsha video for today. This week's Parsha is Vaeira, and it is the beginning of the story of the 10 plagues of the Makos. Now, this is a pretty famous story. We talk about it every year on Pesach at the Seder, and it's often told with like a lot of pediatric humor, like frogs and blood and ha ha ha. But the truth is, it wasn't funny at all, and it wasn't cute either. It's kind of like Noah's Ark. Like Noah's Ark is depicted as this cute little thing with two cute little dogs and two cute little monkeys. Noah's Ark was not cute. It was mass destruction of the universe. Well, the 10 plagues were mass destruction of the universe too. And really, this whole story is a story about emunah. Emunah means faith, belief in God. And it's really interesting if you think about the villain of the story, Pharaoh, and he had a real emunah problem. He had a problem believing in God. In fact, he says to Moshe, Mi Hashem asher eshma b'kolo, who is God that I should listen to his voice? Actually, the Talmud tells us that Pharaoh thought he was a god, or he pretended that he was a god. In fact, when God first told Moses to go talk to Pharaoh, he says to him, go to Pharaoh in the early morning at the Nile, because since he believes himself to be a god or pretends to be a god, he pretends that he doesn't have to go to the bathroom. So he goes to the Nile River early in the morning and he does his business there. So supposedly nobody should see or think, did he really think he was a god? But maybe when you tell yourself a lie enough times, you start to believe it. But the truth is that belief in God is a choice. If we think about if we were in that era and we saw the 10 plagues, would we not believe that there was a God? Pharaoh was doing everything to his own detriment and to the detriment of his own country. His beloved country was literally being destroyed before his very eyes, and he still could not or would not accept that God was in charge of the universe. And the Torah says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. So he did have at some point a window of free will, whether he was going to choose the evidence pointing to the fact that there was a God who ran the universe, or whether he was going to choose to deny that evidence. And that was a choice that he made. And eventually, if you make the wrong choice enough times, then maybe the choice will be taken away from you. But each one of us also has that choice, because yielding control to a greater power is not easy. And sometimes the more times we make a bad choice, the more we believe ourselves to be in control, the worse it is. I think people should be doing more things to remind themselves that they're not in control. Last night, my son and I went to a sensory deprivation flotation tank. And you get into this pool. It's like a one-person pool. It has in it salt and minerals like the Dead Sea, and you close the cover over you. So there's no light, there's no sound, and you float there for 1 hour. Now, I think the world is probably divided into two categories. There are those who are like, wow, that sounds amazing. And then there are those who are like, that sounds absolutely terrifying. So I was sort of, a little bit, part of me was like, that sounds terrifying, and part of it was like, because I am the kind of person who likes to control people, places, and things. And a lot of the time I'm pretty good at it. So I have to remind myself that God is in control of the universe. So I went into this tank and I closed the cover, and there was no indication of the passing of time. And you're not really sure if you're moving or not. And you're not really sure if you're sleeping or not. And it's just the weirdest and coolest experience ever. But for me, it was such a good reminder that I don't need to be controlling people, places, and things all the time. And that there is a God who controls the universe. And I think a lot of us think if I would live through the 10 plagues, then I would really know that I'm not in control of the universe. But really, if the 10 plagues happened today, don't you think there would be all kinds of explanations and excuses for it? So maybe the ball really is in our court to decide if we're going to submit ourselves to a power greater than ourselves or not. Shabbat Shalom.